Okay, good day to everyone. Now we were going to discuss Module 6 entitled The History of Life on Earth. So in this module, we were going to discuss different kinds of history, especially on how life on Earth and unlocking different kinds of mystery of the Earth mismo. Here in this module, we have different kinds of learning objectives. Number 1 is to describe the general features of the Earth of life, the history of life on Earth, including the general accepted dates and sequence of geological time scale. With regards to geological time scale, natitrigger out natin siya kung aling date nag-arise yung isang organism using fossil index. Kasi as of the moment, paano nalalaman ng mga scientists yung isang organism na nag-arise sa Earth is using fossil index. Yung mga bato na nag-petrified that is part of a fossil or organism, kaya tinawag siya as fossil. So, fossil index ang tawag natin doon. And through relative age dating and absolute age dating, natitrigger out natin kung aling part dun mismo sa geological time scale nag-arise yung isang organism, especially kung kailan. Secondly, discuss the importance of learning the history of life on Earth. So, knowing the history of life on Earth is very important because it tell and unlock the history, and also it give us different kinds of knowledge that we can use to when someone asks kung paano ba tayo nag-arise scientifically. Hindi basta-basta rin pwede nating sabihin na ang Earth ay ginawa ng Diyos for certain period of time and ang humans ay ginawa ng Diyos using different ashes or putik. So there are scientifically explanation on how certain Earth began and certain humans or organism began on Earth. So, history of life or history of Earth, the history of life on Earth is filled with many fascinating events. These events presents important pieces of importance that will help us understand how life on Earth came to be. So, kung pagbabasihan lang natin kasi yung geological time scale, as we can see, napakaraming layer ng geological time scale. And different kinds of layer na yun, meron doon. It contains different kinds of events on how life on Earth began and how the mass extinction happened na meron. So, pandemic like in 2019, that is part of mass extinction. But somehow, yon, kinoconsider din siya. So, proposed that the atmosphere of early Earth was very active and numerous incidents of lightning and high levels of ultra radiation. Alam natin after ng Big Bang Theory and especially kung paano mula si Earth, kung paano siya nangyari or nag-arise, is yung Earth po mismo, yung early Earth natin is very reactive. So, napaka-reactive niya. It contains inorganic substance wherein it is not capable to produce organism. But afterwards, yung pagiging reactive ni Earth, nagkaroon tayo ng cool down process. Wherein, as per Oparin, thought that the earlier oceans contain solutions of many essential elements and compounds. He referred to it as primordial soup. Kasi po nga po, pinaniniwalaan ng mga scientists natin today na ang first organism came from oceans or arise from the oceans. Bakit paano siya nag-arise sa ocean? Ayun nga, as per Oparin, one of the theory kung paano nagsimula yung life on Earth is yung primordial soup. Sinasabi ni Oparin na ang oceans daw natin ay it has a perfect solutions, perfect conditions, temperatures, wherein we can produce organism after mag-cool down ng mismo earth natin. From being reactive, nagkaroon ng mga water hanggang sa nagkaroon ng oceans, and then yon naging stabilized. And as for operating from primordial soup theory, it has a perfect conditions which is very essential to produce organism kasi it contains different kinds of elements na makapag-sustain or capable to sustain or produce organism. The origin of life, geological pieces of evidence shows that Earth was not formed from single events. So there are different theories hypothesize na ang Earth ay hindi lang nagawa with simple events. So it has different events na nangyari bago mabuo yung Earth mismo na meron tayo today. Our planet was formed from different pieces of cosmic debris that were probably attracted to one another over a course of about 100 million years. So again, we have different theories on Earth. We have the biosphere theory, the primordial soup theory, and the depth sea vent theory. When we say biosphere theory, parang spontaneous generation lang din to. Na ang sinasabi in this theory na ang life ay nagmula from non-organism hanggang sa nagkaroon ng buhay, and then yon. Kumbaga ang organism daw ay nagmula from non-organic matter hanggang sa na-divert into organic, and then yun, nagkaroon ng buhay. While in primordial soup naman, ito yung sasabi ni Oparin na yung oceans before, after nung pag-cool down ng Earth natin, is a perfect substance that contain essential elements that are capable to sustain life. So parang sa soup, 'di ba? Yung ocean natin, yung sabaw, and then yung mga putahe or yung mga sangkap is the essential elements na after maluto, makakapagbigay ng energy to sustain life. So, yung number 3 naman is the deep sea vent theory. So, in this theory, ayun nga, sinasabi kasi na ang first organism natin is nag-arise from the oceans. So, in this theory, yun nga, your organism is nag-arise under the ocean, but in sea vent po mismo. Pag sinabing sea vent, ito yung kusan buka yung mismong vulkan na makikita natin under the sea. So, kumbaga merong vulkan sa ilalim ng ocean, that is the open, pero hindi reactive. So, bakit daw ganon? Yung seabed kasi yun na yun, it has a perfect conditions with regards to temperatures and also have an essential elements that sustain life. So, yun yung mga different theories of life on Earth, kung paano ba nagsimula yung buhay mismo sa Earth mismo. So, 3 types of universe. We have different types of universe. But before we tackle with universe, we have know muna kung ano yung composition ng universe. Tawag dito, bago kasi natin alamin kung paano nag-arise yung buhay sa Earth, kailangan muna nating alamin kung paano ba nagsimula yung universe mismo. Kasi universe is part of a solar system. And solar system is part po nun sa Earth mismo. So, without the universe, hindi natin matitrigger out paano nga ba nagsimula talaga yung mga debris, cosmic asteroid na meron tayo, or yun. So, as per the composition of the early universe mismo, yung universe natin ay kina-comprises ng 68 point something with regards to dark matter. Yung dark matter po na yun po ay nag-bond hanggang sa mabuo yung mismong energy at nagkaroon tayo ng massive explosion. Yung massive explosion na yun, yung tinatawag natin na Big Bang Theory. So, bago mag-Big Bang Theory, redshift muna, then Big Bang Theory, hanggang different theories na nagsusupport on how universe began, steady state, and more. Hanggang sa mapunta tayo dun mismo kung paano nag-arise si Earth mismo. And as per the scientists nga, si Earth ay hindi lang nabuo with single events or single events. It has a lot of events, kaya medyo nag-evolve na rin si Earth. At ito na yung kasalukuyan na Earth na meron tayo. So, first organic molecules, as per Stanley Miller and Harold Urey, they conducted a lab experiments wherein in these experiments, they suggest that organic compounds are necessary came from inorganic compound. Kasi po, nung early Earth po mismo, ang contains lang ng elements or compounds na meron na makita sa early Earth natin is more on inorganic. And the composition or the situation on that early Earth, medyo reactive pa si Earth. Yung atmosphere natin is not capable to produce light, especially the compounds na meron tayo. That's why they conducted experiment mismo. Through that laboratory experiments, lahat nung inorganic compound na makikita at early Earth, ayun yung ginamit nilang elements na sa experiments nila, dun mismo sa lab experiments nila. And they trigger out and found out na yun nga, ang organic compound ay nagmula sa inorganic. That's why in chemistry, we have two types of subdivision, inorganic and organic chemistry. Now, yung organic compound na yon, ang main composition nun is yung mismong amino acid natin. So as per Stanley Miller and Harold Urey. So how life began, and aside from kay Harold Urey, meron naman tayong another researcher which is Sidney W. Fox and Kaoru Harada. They highlights na ang first organism daw ng nag-arise sa Earth natin ay medyo may kahawig kay proteinoid microsphere. When we say proteinoid microsphere, it's just an organism like bacteria na bilog lang siya na bilog, wherein ang composition nito, it contains amino acids or organic compound na similar at makikita natin with different organism. It's either prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Proteinoid microsphere are spherical structure made of amino acid that form when heated mixture of amino acid that's dissolved in water. So scientists believe that microscopic cell-like structure similar to modern bacteria appeared 200 to 300 million years ago after nga mag-cool down ni Earth mismo. Well, with regards to evolution of RNA and DNA, as of the moment, we don't have any clear explanation kung paano nga ba nag-arise si DNA and RNA. But there are different kinds of hypotheses that can explain kung alin sa dalawa ang nauna. Kung nauna ba ang RNA or DNA. So, one of the biggest questions nga regarding with the history of Earth is how these biomolecules have evolved. Kung paano nag-evolve si RNA tsaka si DNA. Kasi there is no clear explanations pa with scientists kung paano sila at saan sila nagmula. There are no clear explanations at the moment as to how they were initially formed. One of the hypotheses about the origin of life is the protein synthesis. Again, si protein kasi is kinukonsider as organic compound. May occur in RNA but not in DNA. So, ibig sabihin, mas nauna si RNA bago si DNA. So, second, RNA can catalyze certain reaction in form of ribosome. Last, the enzymatic reduction of RNA nucleotides enable the synthesis of DNA nucleotides. Again, alam natin na ang DNA is binubuo ng different sets of codon. Yung tinatawag natin na guanine, thymine, adenine, and cytosine. And we all know that codons ay binubuo din ng different sets of nucleotides. Si nucleotides ay binubuo ng different sets of amino acids, and ang building blocks ng amino acid is the protein. So, yun yung some explanation kung paano sila nag-evolve. Pero yung explanation on how they began, there is no yet clear path. So, origins of eukaryotic cells, complex life began from simple or prokaryotic organism. Alam natin, in early Earth po, ang first organism ay bacteria. Kaya nga, meron tayong Archean period, wherein Archaebacteria were arises sa geological time scale. Which is said to be the ancestor of eukaryotic. So, ibig sabihin, mas nauna si prokaryotic than eukaryotic. And we know naman the differences with regards to prokaryotic and eukaryotic. When we say prokaryotic, it's a unicellular organism. While when we say eukaryotic, it is a multicellular organism like humans. Kasi we contain different kinds of cells like red blood cells, white blood cells. That's why we consider ourselves as multicellular under eukaryotic cell. Again po, again, what is the differences between them? So, prokaryotes are successful in an incredible range of habitat that they can live in a massive environment. Kahit hindi na conducive yung environment, prokaryotic can live pa rin. That's why scientists believe na yung first organism natin ay unicellular organism. Afterwards, diba nga, sinasabi na ang eukaryotic cell, ang ancestor niya is yung mismong prokaryotic. Now, we have to tackle what is endosymbiosis. So, when we say endosymbiosis is a type of relationship wherein an organism lives inside its partner. Kumbaga, there is a host and then merong papasok. Now, kasi in sa modern cell, pag sinabing modern cell, it contains mitochondria at chloroplast. Now, si modern cell kasi, yun yung structure natin na pinag-aralan natin last time. Meron tayong mitochondria, kina-consider natin siya as powerhouse. But, as per scientists, si mitochondria is not really part of the cell in ancestor cell. Kumbaga, sa lumang cell, hindi siya part. Nagkaroon tayo ng endosymbiosis relationship with bacteria. Si chloroplast tsaka si mitochondrion or mitochondria, kino-consider siya as aerobic bacteria. Wherein nagkaroon tayo ng endosymbiosis relationship, yung bacteria na yon pumasok from the cell. Now, that's what we call modern cell. Kaya kung mapapansin po natin, si mitochondria, it has a self-contained DNA structure. Diba kung sa cell, alam natin na ang DNA natin ay makikita lang natin inside the nucleus. But no, si mitochondria po, meron siyang sariling DNA. That's why sinasabi ng mga scientists na nagkaroon ng symbiosis relationship and the symbiosis relationship with regards to different bacteria at the early Earth mismo. Punta naman tayo sa multicellularity and sexual reproduction. So, now tinigger out natin kung paano ba nag-arise yung certain organism. So, again, nagsimula sila from reactive ng earth natin as per Oparin, na yung earth natin ay reactive and not capable to sustain life, but somehow yung organic compounds is nagmula sa inorganic as per Stanley Miller and Harold Urey on their experiment on lab. Napatunayan nila na ang organic compound ay is nagmula sa inorganic compound, wherein ang main product is the amino acids or the proteins. So, alam naman natin na lahat ng organism na meron tayo here in this earth ay contain yung mismong amino acid. That's why they believe na yung yung first organism ay may pagkakahawig kay protonoid microsphere. Kasi si protonoid microsphere nabubuo lang siya with regards to dissolved amino acid inside the water na perfect yung mismong temperature. Now, proceed na tayo sa sexual reproduction. So, the sexual reproduction po, with regards to eukaryotic and prokaryotic, has different ways. Sir, paano nga ba kasi nagmula at paano naging ancestor ni eukaryotic cell, si prokaryotic cell? Alam natin na again, kakasabi ko lang po, na ang first organism is nag-arise from the oceans, and that is considered as Archaebacteria. That Archaebacteria is similar to Cyanobacteria. Similar sila. Wherein, pag sinabi kasi natin Cyanobacteria, they use photosynthesis. Since nga po, at the early earth po, after mag-cool-down, wala pong pagkukuhaan ng source of energy, source of food source of food or nutritions, kundi yung sun mismo, yung lights. And alam naman natin yung process ng photosynthesis. We have to need carbon dioxide, light, and then water to produce energy. And ang byproduct kasi ng cyanobacteria is to create oxygen. So, through that, nagkaroon ng rapid reproduction si cyanobacteria or yung early bacteria natin, early organism natin na nasa earth, hanggang sa nagkaroon na ng oxygen sa earth mismo. Now, to trigger out the differences between the multicellularity and the sexual reproduction of two organisms, they have different ways of reproduction. So, si prokaryotes produce asexual and si eukaryotes produce sexually. Ano nga po ba yung main differences? Pag sinabi nating asexual, they don't have need to undergo unions of gametes. So, ibig sabihin, hindi kailangan magkaroon ng interaction or unity or pagbabay ng two gametes ng male and female. So, they produce through fission, binary fission. Ano po ang pagkakaiba kapag offspring? Kapag binary fission ang naging reproduction mode ng isang organism like bacteria, kung ano ang parent traits na meron, yun din po ang mamamana ng offspring. They are similarly identical. Kumbaga, nag-replicate sila ng sa parehong pareho. Nag-undergo ng binary fission, pero yung byproduct is parehong pareho from parent alleles. Paano naman po pag sexual reproduction or yung kinoconsider natin process ng reproduction sa eukaryotic cell? Eukaryotic cell undergo through sexual reproduction wherein we have to have a union between male and female gametes. Kung ba kailangan natin magkaroon ng intercourse between male and female gametes. At ang magiging offspring ay 50-50 pa sa percentage ng alleles. Hindi magiging totally resemblance or identical sa parent. Kung magkaka-resemblance lang ang magiging byproduct. Kasi nga as per the Punnett square, kung ano ang dominant alleles, yun ang lumalabas na traits or sa phenotypic ratio or sa phenotype appearance ng isang organism or ng isang offspring. So, kung union of gametes yon at kailangan natin ng dalawang gametes ng male and female. Kung alin kung alin yung dominant traits or genetic materials na dominant from both parent, yun lang po ang lalabas sa offspring. Kaya resemblance lang po with regards to sexual reproduction, while pag asexual, totally identical yung magiging offspring. So, yun lang po ang discussion natin today. And also, I just wanted to remind everyone to answer the assignment in forum and also answer the quiz mismo. Merong password yung quiz, but somehow, I will be sending the password sa GC mismo. So, again po, pakisagutan po within today yung mismong quiz na meron sa Genyo. And then, pakisagutan din po yung forum na meron sa Genyo, which is considered as part of your assignment. Thank you!